Gentlemen, welcome back. Alex, you're here. Busy as always, though. Daniel, you're back from Alberta.
Mm-hmm.
How are we?
We are good. We have reassembled.
Exactly. We are I was about to say we're the Avenger. We did that a few weeks ago.
We are. We have let justice unite.
Yeah, dude. Mike eased his way in and tried to take over, like, I don't know, Ultron did to Jarvis, and then we kicked him out. Except our journey is more entertaining than what was the name? What was that movie? Age of Ultron. Not a good movie. Absolutely.
I tried my best to like it.
Yeah, it's like they wasted Quicksilver, and then it was just a mess. It did not work.
No,
I did like one part of it before we get to hockey. And I actually use this as a good philosophy in my life.
Mm-hmm.
When Vision is fully created, from Jarvis's voice, and then they ask him, "What side are you on?" I think it was Thor or Captain America. He's like, "What side are you on?" He's like, "I'm on the side of life." I'm like,
that's a Captain. That's a Captain America question.
And he'd be like, "I like that." He'd be like, "We don't." So yeah, I love it. I love it. A bit of a serious note to open the show on, though. We want to give as much condolences, best wishes to everyone in Texas right now, especially those affected by the school shooting. Guys, I've been on this earth for 22 years. Never once have I ever felt the need to have a gun. I just wanted to really give a shout out to Steve Kerr, obviously head coach of the Golden State Warriors before Game 4 yesterday. They had a very good press conference, basically putting aside the game. And a big theme yesterday was what are we doing? Or a lot in the States was that. You look at the numbers worldwide and just what it's like in the States. And the fact that it's not just student, it's kids. What were some of the ones of 3rd, 4th grade? Those are kids.
Literally.
Such a waste of life. I don't get how there isn't change in the States. I don't get how people continue to say we need more guns, are some people's thing. It's the people behind. No. How are there not regulations in place? I don't get the fascination when kids are getting murdered, and it's not even rare anymore there. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, no, it was rough. Like, it's always rough. I hate talking about these things, but I mean, again, like, you have to. I think that's the field I think all three of us want to get in. And, we've been talking about it for how many years? Or we, not specifically but I think this has been a discussion for, I can't even tell you, too long.
Once Biden was like vice president, I think is when it was really, really getting talked about in the mainstream media.
2008. Yeah.
Around there. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's I don't even know what word I could use that I wouldn't have to bleep out. Like it's come on.
It's just the thing I can't get over, right, is I was talking to my mom about this. She as a one time was a police officer, right? Excuse the dogs if you can hear them going nuts right now, but the thing of, in some scenarios, they let the kids out of school one at a time, right? And what it must be like as a parent, and the crowd is getting smaller and smaller, and what it must be like in the moment where you realize, because I'm sure like a lot of people have phones a lot more than when we were probably that young, but still, the worry there, I can't put into words just how horrifying that must be for those parents and those families.
Yeah, I saw it on Twitter, and I wish I could find it, and I tried. I couldn't find it, but essentially the analogy was about, I believe we're going back to Sandy Hook, and they were talking about, since then, what has changed. And the only thing that has really changed since then is that we've taught kids how to hide and deal with a situation like this. And we've solely done, well, they were talking about the US. I can't really talk for Canada because I'm not 100% sure, but what the tweet was talking about was, since then, all we've done is taught kids how to protect themselves, yet that protection doesn't really work because you're also teaching the people who are going to kill these kids how to work around that plan. Right. I don't know. Like it's I don't know.
The shooter was 18. So I remember the elementary school I went to, for example, the bathrooms didn't have doors. They were like, and if you ever been like I'm just any sort of, I don't think Ryerson and the RCC, like those bathrooms don't have doors. You just kind of walk in. Like I think some do, but it's, some of them are just sort of empty space, like long hallways, right? Or a classroom is a square. I saw this tweet. It was like a teacher saying to like one of the kids saying, there's 3 good hiding spots, and they go like that. And then where are they supposed to go? It's just, and you see some senators saying some stuff, and it's like, I can't with them. It's it's insane.
So we talk about it with like, when we talk about hockey and stuff like that, we have that discussion of, I can't take, when we're talking about serious topics, I can't take the Gary Bettmans. I can't take the Bill Dailies. I can't take, I'll even say most general managers. I can't take them seriously. And it's the same here, man. Like, cool, send your tweet out, do whatever, but you're not doing anything. Like, it's like when the NHL does their, I don't know, their Black History Month, but then the 11 months out of the year, you had like, they don't do anything despite having a lot of the BIPOC who are in the league have extremely interesting stories, but you're picking 1 month to talk about them, or you're picking 2 months out of the years to talk about them. It's similar to that is the point I'm making. So I didn't want to get off track.
Yeah.
I can't take the tweet seriously, nor did I before this, but I can't take it seriously when you're doing it on a day like yesterday or today.
I'll throw it to Daniel here in a second, because I think we kind of stole your Dan. Sorry about that. But when Steve Kerr said he's sick of coming up to the podium and giving his condolences and that, you do it out of respect for obvious reasons, but no one wants to keep talking about people losing their families. And again, I'm sorry to keep reading, but they were kids, 4th grade. They're kids, damn it. Go ahead, Daniel. Sorry, we've just sort of been all over this.
No, it's okay. Perfectly valid points for everything you guys have said. That I am tired of these PR type of messages where it's posted there and then it's like something that's gonna just go in the distance, that we're not gonna really bring it up again, especially from people who I think that they have the power to change policy. And then something that it didn't really hit me too with all of this social media coverage on everything is we go even further back to the Columbine shootings in like the 2000s. And then a lot of the survivors there, they have kids who are in an elementary school now too. And many of them, and I apologize that I did not remember the names, but many of them were even tweeting out that for them, like, and having that memory of what they went through, now having to bring their own kids into school, thinking like, is this really like the last time I'm going to see them eat breakfast? The last time I'm going to bring them to the bus stop. The last time I'm actually going to see them like on my way, like towards work. Like, is this something that has to be like, why is this a norm right now? And why is it something that we've had so many years of this going on that, yes, the condolences are nice. That is a sign of respect, but like actual change. I know Joe Biden did tweet a lot about this, but I don't know, like every time something like this happens, and there are multiple shootings every year in schools in the US, that I don't buy it. I just don't like when he goes on these bold statements and says things have to change. It's just, okay, Joe, what are you going to do?
Buddy, you're in charge.
At some point. Sorry, go ahead, Alec. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say I think, Daniel, like you brought up the survivors from past school shootings, and I think that's a very important part to not just, I think, this problem, but there's other problems too when it comes to mental health. And, I think obviously that's a big discussion in sport, and people like to brush it off in sports because they make millions of dollars, which is BS to begin with. But they're living with that for the rest of their lives, whether you like it or not. Whether you agree with it or not, they are living with that for the rest of their lives. And I hope the help is available to them to talk it through, to actually talk it through, not to go see someone and you'll just be prescribed something, to talk it through and figure it out. Because I can't even imagine the distress someone is constantly going through after dealing with something like that.
And then was an old tweet from a governor saying, "Oh, hey, Texas, we're the second highest buying state for firearms behind California. Pick it up." Something else I was thinking of just now is obviously the past couple of years, we've had kids out of schools because of COVID. Mm-hmm. And the thing of having them back there, another sort of thing of mental health. And we're only now the past few months are we starting to get, obviously the US has been a bit different, mm-hmm. but I'm thinking of the Canadian mindset. Obviously it's a lot different, but still, even there were times where they were out of school, they go back to get to some sort of thing of normacy. But then it's again, the shootings are becoming normal. Like I can't fathom going to school and being scared for my life. That is just, I can't. There has to, as the I forget who exactly it was. I think it was one of the senators the day of the shooting saying, "What are we doing here?" And he kept repeating it. What are we doing? It's difficult, man. It is, as we always say, it's a difficult turn to make to then talk about hockey. But this was too important to not talk about. It just was. So again, even if our best wishes aren't going to bring those kids back, we still want to say that we just freaking hope that people can get the help they need here. Because it's waking up and you start seeing all the pictures of the kids and the teachers too. We forgot about the teachers. It's mm-hmm. If that doesn't make you think there needs to be change, then you look at yourself in the mirror. Ridiculous. Okay. Let's talk about the NHL. Let's talk about the playoffs, guys. And one of the series hasn't been that great either to talk about because there is some good stuff here, but it's also rough because Nazem Kadri has had, I got to think, a roller coaster of a week. After him and Jordan Binnington. After the crybaby? After Jordan Mr. deletes all his racist tweets while his team is getting lit up by the guy he threw a water bottle at. Deletes all those tweets, Jordan. So last episode with Mike, I mentioned that there were the tweets, but I hadn't seen them since that episode. And that's why at the time I was saying I was being careful because I hadn't seen them, right? Since then, I've seen those tweets. And a lot of them are towards Nazem Kadri's ethnicity. They weren't directed exactly to Nazem Kadri, but they were towards, brown people, which is, I can't do it. Before we get to the game itself, because first off, Kadri was a rock star. We're going to talk about that. I like probably Jared Bednar. I'm so proud of Nazem Kadri. But so after Kadri and Binnington come together, after I think it was Callie Rosen was the one who actually puts Kadri in and took out Binnington. In that post game, we talked about Mike and I, the water bottle gets thrown and all that. And as a result, we've seen more and more of stuff coming out of Kadri getting death threats, racial slurs towards him. His wife even puts out some of the messages he was getting. And some of those people are actually, I think one of them was a member of like a fraternity or something, and they got kicked out of it. Those people are starting to get the consequences dealt to them, which they deserve to, by the way. Craig Berube originally, when asked about what was happening with Kadri, had no comment. Today, he finally came out with his response. The first thing he said before saying, I'm sorry to Nazem Kadri for what's happening to him was, I don't have social media. Which, remember when Alain Vigneault in the bubble was like, I don't read the news, so I don't know what's happening about George Floyd and that right now.
Don't believe you.
No, not at all.
Don't believe it.
Here's the thing. Sorry, just one thing before I throw it to here, Alex. Let's just say, for argument's sake, he didn't know. What are your PR staff doing to not tell you and have something prepared?
Literally. You know the sport you're in. Mm-hmm. You don't even have to know the sport you're in. Just go on social media. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to tell you. Again, similar with Alain Vigneault, I highly doubt you didn't know. You just you chose not to say anything, and you're gonna get it. 72 hours later, the question included that there were. What did the question that he was asked not include that there were threats, or did I misunderstand the question?
I'll go and double check, but I'm pretty sure there was a sort of. I don't think the original question mentioned race, but I do think there. I'll double check.
So let's fine. Imagine they didn't say race in them, but there were threats toward Nazem Kadri. You, as a coach, I feel, should say, we do not condone that. I don't think that's completely uncalled for. I think that's 10,000% fair to say we do not condone threats to other players' teams. I don't care if it's the playoffs. I don't. I really, 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 really do not. Because in this particular case, racial threats or not, whether they're threats, that goes beyond the sport. Like, it's so simple. It's so simple. You had to say one line and we wouldn't even be mentioning Craig Berube's name on this podcast. I swear to God, we wouldn't even be mentioning the name Craig Berube.
Just, I'm going to quickly lower the volume on my computer so I can double check and listen to the clip to see exactly what Berube's asked. So just go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. It's taken a weird turn with this series on what's going on with Nazem Kadri. And again, like, we talk about PR, we talk about all the other NHL guys that have kind of just, it's like they say something without saying something. And I think Greg Berube is just doing that. And honestly, like, it's just been a bit of a disappointing thing because he is a point of authority that could have said just something at this point, because it's just another drag on things. I think that now it's exacerbating a lot of the other stuff that's going on. Like, for me personally, and I've said it before on the show, I used to be a David Perron fan, and I've lost a ton of respect for him. And I think now we see Greg Berube's comments on things is just another thing where, like, there's this collective dismissive thing on the side of the Blues that it's not going to change. That, like, for me, I was already had Colorado winning it,
right?
Quite easily with Jordan Binnington in net. But now I absolutely hope Colorado finishes it soon.
I don't know.
What are your thoughts? It was there was no thing of race, but the question was, what are your thoughts about the threats towards Kadri? So, but still, like, Craig, what are we doing here? Where are the PR staff?
Okay.
You're telling me that the social media admin wasn't seeing that? I'm not saying the PR. I'm not saying the Twitter person has to go to Craig Berube, but was that not communicated within the organization?
I'm not sure. Daniel, you brought up David Perron there, and that's an interesting one.
Loser.
Was there a quote, or did he have a quote, or was it just what happened during the game? Did I miss it? Was there also a quote that I missed from David Perron, or was it just the stuff?
It was just stuff in the game that happened multiple times.
You know what? I'm a little behind on some of this stuff, so I just wanted to make sure I didn't miss anything. Here's what I have to say to David Perron. You do you, brother. Don't ever forget, you guys went after Nazem Kadri and you lost yourselves the game. And we'll get to Calgary later because I think they also lost themselves the game by doing this a similar thing. Remember that. Remember, you guys went after Nazem Kadri and you paid the consequences. So, when you focus on one player, you're going to get yourself screwed.
So just because I muted Daniel halfway through his point. Just so the Perron stuff. Sorry if I'm repeating what Daniel says here. So him and I believe Pavel Buchnevich in the same place for the double team Nas, including a cross check, which I believe Perron was then fined for. Leads to a 5-on-3 to the Colorado Avalanche. Right as it expires, though, the Avs convert. That's Nazem Kadri scoring, by the way. One of the 3 goals he scored against St. Louis, in St. Louis, by the way, which was just lovely to see. And afterwards, David Perron, as he's getting out the box, tries to fly by and hit Kadri. Luckily, Kadri avoids it, which gutless. Absolutely gutless from Perron. And you know what's funny? Last episode, I forgot to mention it with Mike. I was going to say, man, is David Perron like the most underrated player of the last 5 years? And I'm happy I didn't do that. I'm thrilled that I didn't do that. Because he's been good, but guess what?
Lost a lot of respect for him. Like, he was like one of those underrated guys I wanted to cheer for. That, you know, the numbers eventually came later in his career, and no, I don't like it.
Listen, he's not Binnington in this situation. He's not Berube, but it's still just, he's got a bit of stank attached to it because of everything going on in St. Louis, so I'll say that. But it's still like, it's petty. And the worst thing is, if you're a teammate, is it costs them the game. You know what I mean? Is that insurance or that? And Kadri was just on such a mission. What? Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I wanted to point out a positive note from all of this.
Yep.
Shout out Nazem Kadri.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I've said some things about Nazem Kadri on this podcast, bad, good, and bad, but I think he's handled this like a champ. I think this is a huge sign of maturity for him. And I think if you even go back Toronto suspension days, I think obviously it was talked about that there was some things, bad things behind the scenes. And to be honest, I don't really think being a part of the Leafs pre-Shanahan would do you any good. To be honest, I thought that was a nightmare scenario for him, but like, man, like, good for him. Like, he's just killed it.
No, go ahead, Daniel. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry.
I think he's been able to overcome a lot of these things that's been really thrown at him. And again, like, you know, he was brought in to Colorado as a secondary scorer, but like, you know, amidst the Rantanens, the McKinnons, the Landeskog's, and for him to explode like that in the game, that's probably one of the best moments for me right now in the playoffs.
You know, you look at going back to the first round, Nashville tried to push his buttons. This series, in that scrum when Perron went after him, Kadri a couple of years ago would have swung back, and we wouldn't see him for the rest of the playoffs. Guarantee we wouldn't have seen him. But maturity is the perfect word to use there, Alex. You stole the words right out of my mouth there. Listen, it's no secret I am rooting for the Avs to win the Cup. I have a deep love for that team. And, you know, Kadri at the beginning of the year when Nick McKinnon was in and out with COVID and injury really stepped up and really showed what he was made of. So like the best production we've seen since his Leaf days, or especially that lockout shortened season that, as Daniel reminded us last time you were on the show, nearly point per game there. And then he comes and has this fantastic year. And in a series where guys like Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon have been shut down a good bit, to the Blues' credit, Naz has just stepped up. And the celebration of I Can't Hear You. So I complimented Ron McLean last episode with Mike about how he called out Chris Lee, right?
I was surprised you did that.
Yeah.
And now I'm just going to rip Ron McLean again. I did not see this. Until I saw a quote tweeted by someone. Ron McLean apparently didn't like that Nazem Kadri did the "Can you hear me?" celebration.
Okay.
Really? Really?
Adam, I'll do you one better. I'm gonna pull out this tweet right now.
Oh God, please no. I can't stand.
Just guess who it's from.
Steve Simmons.
No.
Sid Seixeiro.
Surprisingly not.
Tim Peel.
Tim Peel.
Oh my God! What a freaking loser! Please read this.
I'm not sure why the vitriol today. This is on May 22nd. I'm not sure why the vitriol today. Nazem Kadri has been suspended 6 times in his career, and 3 of those in the playoffs. One of the reasons he was shipped out of Toronto because he couldn't control himself and hurt his team every playoffs. But that isn't the tweet I was looking for.
I was about to say, Alex, that's not even the worst one.
Where is this tweet?
He spelled Nazem wrong as well.
He did.
First, oh yeah, he did. So first off, he tweeted the picture of the turtle, referring to Kadri, and then Alex will find the tweet here. Oh my God, what an actual!
I almost lost it. I think Will retweeted it, so I'm gonna see if I can find it. I'm gonna have to go through. Oh, he deleted it.
So I think to paraphrase it was something along the lines of Kadri calling out Berube was indicative of how he was selfish and why he got sent out of Toronto. So, and it's funny he mentioned the suspension in that not deleted tweet. I'm sure if you look up like Tim Peel on like Twitter, like just the search engine, someone definitely screenshotted it. But I think it was some of the lines of he was calling Kadri selfish for calling out Berube. Which was what about the racism?
I want to read. I want to read Will Baldwin's tweet because I think it's a
friend of the show.
Friend of the show. It's a good point. These are the people who decide how NHL rules are controlled on the ice, and then we still have people surprised. It's a total joke how bad it is. I'd like to add on to that tweet that, hey guys, do you know where Tim Peel's working right now? The media.
Isn't he like Daily Face-Off or something?
Part of Daily Face-Off. Not only are they controlling what's going on the ice, but they're controlling the narrative in the media.
And for those who do not remember, Tim Peel was the guy who got caught on a hot mic looking to give Nashville a penalty because game management. He was cut. He was let go. He was fired for it. Got sent home. So, yeah. Tim Peel.
Don't even get me started. Like I could just lose it.
Not a credible voice.
It's just so stupid. Like,
is there a tweet where he's like, "Hey, Nas, racism's lame"? Is there anything like that?
I don't think so.
I'm checking right now. I don't.
Yeah, please see if there's any sort of, hey, Nas, sorry you got death threats and your family did. Like,
it's sometimes the lack of context in everything is just pure stupidity. I feel like it's sometimes like I just want to run my head through a wall with the lack of context anyone's providing on anything nowadays.
Compare what we've seen from Tim Peel here. Compare what we've seen from Craig Berube being so late. And maybe I'm comparing 2 big extremes here, but you compare that and you see what Steve Kerr said about the shootings. And I'm like, the difference in these leagues and the people who are in these positions of power is so jarring. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So actually, I was thinking about that too. And I'm going to put it like this. The NBA is culture, is literally culture. So, right, like, when something happens, they're asked about it because they are culture. But it's just the NHL doesn't care. I don't agree with it. I'm just the NHL isn't culture.
You see that they may be expanding to Seattle and Vegas, by the way, the NBA.
Oh wow! No, I did not see that.
Yeah, I saw Will.
The Sonics are back.
I don't know. I wonder how long. I wonder if that puts pressure on the Kraken. By the way.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Or
to get good.
Oh yeah. So that'll be interesting to see what happens there. So the Avs can close tonight. We're all rooting for them. Like let's be honest, we're rooting for them in home At Ball Arena. I missed that it used to be the Pepsi Center.
Yeah, same here. Oh my gosh,
Love
that's
it.
an amazing name.
Center. Isn't that what Rico's called now?
Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola. Yeah.
Rico Coliseum was a good name, and then
It was
Coca-Cola.
It should be the Brio Coliseum.
Everyone still calls it Rico, though. Literally.
Yeah, well, because it's a better name. Now, listen, I know I'm saying that Pepsi Center was a good name. I am a Pepsi fan. I'll admit.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just Pepsi's a nice word to say.
Pepsi.
Sponsors of Back to the Future.
Exactly. Great movie. It's because I've seen it. Yeah, great. Good stuff. Good stuff. Okay. For the first time this season, the Florida Panthers got shut out. Problem is, it was game 4 when they were down 3-0. After allegedly, we'll get to the strip club thing in a minute.
Oh my god.
I can't believe this. Okay, I'm gonna read you guys a graphic that I saw. Hold on.
Is it the graphic that I think it is?
Oh, it's going to be. From, again, Ava Tarrant on Twitter, my favorite Twitter follow. She puts up an NHL TNT graphic here. Andrei Vasilevsky could rip apart Adams with his bare hands in series clinching games. And here it is. These are mythical is a word I like to use when talking about extreme stats. This is beyond that. I never thought I would see numbers like this in my entire life. Big game, big cat. Last 7 series clinching games for Andrei Vasilevsky. Shots against 200. Save percentage, 995.
Wow.
Goals against average, 0.14. 6 shutouts.
Can I say it? Can I say it?
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead and say it.
Andrei Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the world. Igor Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina this year. Shesterkin is going to win the Vezina this year.
Yep.
Andrei Vasilevsky is the best goalie in the world.
He is. I feels wrong complimenting him.
He could.
I can't.
Can I?
So good.
I don't know if this is controversial enough, but I was talking with someone the other day, and I said to them, if Andrei Vasilevsky retired right now, I would still put him as a first ballot Hall of Famer. That's how good I think.
People were saying that.
That's how good I think.
He's 27 right now?
That's how good I think he is. He is so clutch. He's ridiculous.
Okay, hold on. Let's look at his.
He's 27, right?
I want everyone in Toronto to take their words back, you silly people.
Do you guys remember who Detroit traded that first round pick that became Vasilevsky for?
Kyle Quincy?
I always mention this for Kyle Quincy.
It was like a three-way trade, right?
I don't remember the exact details. All I remember it was they traded the pick for that became Vasilevsky for Kyle Quincy.
Ken Holland, ladies and gentlemen.
So these are his career stats, by the way. That's true. So he's played 372 regular season games, 237 wins, which is insane. His career save percentage is .920. Now, let me quickly try and find his playoff numbers. And obviously is it just one Vezina so far?
Yeah, unfortunately.
Just one Vezina, which is, fair, but I mean, not bad. These are his career playoff numbers. 92 games played, 57, 32, and 32, sorry. So no overtime losses, which is funny. A career goals against average of 2.24, a .925 save percentage in the playoffs, which is insane. Oh my goodness gracious. So his playoff career numbers are better than the regular season, which is, I'm pretty sure that's the case of like Braden Point. Yeah, he's got the Vezina trophy. He's got 2 Stanley Cups. Okay, I think he'd be first ballot if he wins the 3rd straight. I think
he could retire right now.
I don't know.
He could absolutely retire
if he wins the Conn Smythe.
Because he hasn't won it yet. Or did he win it
It was Hedman last year, and then
did he win it? Was it Braden Point? Hold on a minute.
So Alex, just a question for you: with the Panthers being swept and being shut out in an elimination game, does it feel a little bit better that the Leafs did score in Game 7? against Vasilevsky.
Oh my god. Okay,
like,
hold on.
Wait, like this much.
Okay.
Like literally this much.
Yeah.
Okay,
Like see how close my fingers are?
Yeah.
You see how close my fingers are?
Mhm.
That's the amount I care.
Okay.
So, Vasilevsky won it last year, yeah, and then Hedman was the bubble. I remember I was campaigning for Hedman that whole time too. I remember
that was when he was injured. Was that not when he was injured?
Hedman?
Did he win the Conn Smythe when he was injured, or was that?
I think they all were. Well, no, just don't forget he wasn't as bad as the 2019, because remember he was so hurt that he just couldn't. That was a big part why they lost to Columbus. But he was definitely dealing with something.
Because was it last year where CJ reported in like Marchish that Hedman needed surgery in the summer, and then they literally won the cup?
I wouldn't be surprised.
That's
and
crazy.
He's been getting better. I mean, so here's the funny thing. I was having a conversation with Will. I love our playoff chats. And we were talking about sort of, how Hedman, he mentioned to me how Hedman and Stamkos were drafted in consecutive years, right? Which doesn't get talked about enough, which is insane, right? And how Hedman, because Doughty and Carlson sort of had their fall offs, obviously Carlson's just everything, that ankle, goodness gracious. But Victor Hedman's probably the best defenseman since Nicholas Backstrom is the point that Will made to me.
Lidstrom?
Yes. Hedman's the best D we've had since Lidstrom.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, probably.
I don't know.
Is there anyone else? Is there any there's top tier guys who stayed really consistent, but
not at this level.
Not at this level. He's been top tier.
Duncan how many too?
Yeah. How many guys have been top tier consistently for this long?
Scott Niedermayer?
I don't know.
Chris Pronger, Scott Niedermayer.
Weber, I guess you can say. Weber
for the injuries, yeah.
No, I see even his last year, you could see it kind of falling, but then the playoffs sort of helped. I'm trying to think Suter's still kind of like that. I haven't looked at his big numbers in Dallas, but the thing with them is those guys don't have the offensive side to their game that Hedman can contribute to.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really even Yossi, it took until the last 2-3 years for Yossi to really turn into the offensive juggernaut he is. I'm trying to think maybe right now Cale Makar. But Makar is in his third or fourth year, so
right,
and he hasn't won anything. He's even having Norris, which is weird. So
I have two other examples.
Yeah,
but they're older ones.
Okay,
and they did win together, which is great.
Okay,
Rob Blake and Ray Bork.
Those were too long ago.
Okay,
too long ago.
Would you add Pronger because he retired his last game was 2012.
I think I still like Hedman.
No?
I think I still like Hedman. Yeah.
I think that team overall is just ridiculous. Right. Everyone's counting Stamkos out, and then time and time again, man's back.
Mm-hmm.
You see, here's the thing. It's sometimes you almost have to put the fancy numbers to the side and just gotta remember that famous thing where Max Kellerman was saying the statistics said that Kawhi Leonard was a better big time shooter than Kobe Bryant. Yeah. And it was okay, let's calm down here, dude. But
right.
And
smaller sample size.
Exactly. And people and Stephen A's thing was okay, the moments when Shaq fouled out famously and then Kobe brought it home. Sometimes you got to be forget Stamkos and whatever his 5-on-5 production is. The man is a force of nature.
100%.
And remember the blood clots, the broken leg, the man is it's just special. And hitting that third cup, I think you start having the debate where Vasilevsky will start ranking. Mm-hmm. You will have the debate of where Victor Hedman starts to go in the all-time greats. I don't know if Kucherov, Point, and Stammer end up on those higher levels because I think it's much more difficult for forwards. But Hedman and Vasilevsky are entering pantheon territory. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I like that word, pantheon.
Sickening to me.
It's crazy. It's crazy. And I guess we should get to Florida, but my last point on Tampa Bay, and then we go to, then you guys can keep going. But and I noticed it during when they won, during their wins against Toronto. I've never seen a team play the way Tampa Bay does. I don't mean stylistically. I mean the passion, the effort, the will to win. You know, it pissed me off, and I brought it up. We brought it up before, but when when the narrative crept in, like, oh, they're tired and no, they don't care, like how this and that. Guys, that's not it. It's not it with this team.
I hope Steven Stamkos, when he lifts the cup, just like, I hope he does an interview with Sportsnet and directly says Elliot Friedman, like, says something to him about that. Like, what was Elliot thinking saying that? They're tired.
They're tired. Get out of here. Don't sleep. Back-to-back cup champions.
I hate it so much. 10 straight series wins?
Yeah.
I can't stand they're in this division. Because here's the thing. I think Palat's a question, but Hagel's back next year. Perry's back next year. Kucherov's back next year. Vasilevsky's back next year. Stamkos is back next year. Braden Point is back next year.
Nick Paul will probably somehow be back next year. Like,
it's so annoying.
He's going to take a discount to stay with the team.
Literally.
They're so good.
They're so good.
Oh, just get out of the division. And Yzerman's just gonna build Detroit up, and it's like, God damn it.
Get out of here. I think they're probably the most like, I think I'd say they're the best organization in the league. I think that's in every facet. They have the best coach. I'll stand by that forever.
Yeah.
Drafting and developing. Just go look. Like,
Palat was like a 6th round pick.
Unfair.
Seventh round, and he's like 400 points. And consistent for like 15, 18 goal guy, 40 point. Gross.
Braden Point, 3rd round pick.
And the Habs drafted
Kucherov, end of the 2nd.
It's sickening. And here's the thing: it's not just this stretch. Remember, they've been to a finals back in 2015?
Yeah, 2015.
Yeah.
2015. Few conference final stuff in there as well. So it's just, they've also been consistent going back to that.
Right.
It is a model organization. Like, I think they've surpassed the Chicago and like the Chicago's.
They're the best team in the Cap era. Sorry.
Yeah.
If they win 3 straight, like Sid hasn't done that. Sidney Crosby hasn't won 3 straight cups. Imagine if they can do it.
I think if you want to pinpoint a specific team, I think last year's team was the most skilled team in the Stanley Cup era. It's not Stanley Cup, in the salary cap era.
Yeah, we had that. Yeah.
Bar down. Like, I won't, like, I'll debate that forever.
Yeah. Shout out to Corey Perry, by the way. 50 career playoff goals. We love you, man.
We all love him. Alex.
Okay. It said something, by the way, when the opposing team's head coach says that you had more will to win. Like in the regular season, you hear that a lot, but hearing Andrew Bennett say that after Game 3. Okay, the Panthers.
First victory start.
Sorry?
Sending all our positive vibes to 2 friends of the show, Alex Baumgartner and Carter Verhaeghe.
I was talking a lot to Baumgartner this playoffs. And since they got eliminated, I texted him saying, I'm sorry, man. And he said, it's part of the business. And I haven't spoken to him since because I want to give him the time. But I love the man. We obviously do not know Kadri Verhaeghe personally, but
he's still a friend of the show.
He's a friend of the show.
He shut people up this year. He sure as hell did. I love Kadri Verhaeghe. Okay. The Panthers scored 3 goals in 4 games here. They had 1 power play goal their entirety of their playoff run. They gave up a lot of picks to go get Giroux, to go get Ben Sherratt, to go get Sam Reinhart. Now, Reinhart has some term on him, so that's not too horrible. A lot of people have mentioned Verhaeghe's extension kicks in. Alexander Barkov's extension kicks in. Next year, I think, is when Hubert was up, but they have another year, so you worry about that when that happens, I'd say. But, you still have Barkov coming back and all that. There is still a core group there, right? Oh, yeah.
There is wait a second, Adam. Are you telling me we're not going to talk about Jonathan Huberdeau for the next 12 months?
I don't want to do it.
He had the most assists, guys, by a winger, by left
Hallelujah.
winger.
Let's not do it. I'm down.
I may joke that he's coming to Montreal. I'm not believing that. I'm not going to be like, he's coming No, we're not going to. Listen,
we're not going to spend 12 months talking about his unrestricted free agent contract.
We're going to spend another 12 months saying whatever anytime Matthews just does something cool. But the playoff, I'm ready for that. I can't have that conversation about.
Well, how about Panthers, his 23 months? Well, but in 23 months, his contract will be up.
Oh, it's sickening.
So we got to talk about it. Obviously.
It's just, you know what I can't wait for, by the way, on Twitter. No, I'm not gonna. No,
say it. Say it. No, you started the sentence. Say it.
What's been bothering me is the moment the Panthers fell on 3-0. I said, I know what Twitter's gonna be like.
What's Twitter gonna be like?
I was like, if Tampa win the cup, how quickly before we hear if the Leafs won in Game 7?
2013. This is 2013 all over again.
I will personally slap every single one of them.
I want y'all
come to Guelph. Here. You buy tickets to the Guelph Nighthawks. You come to Sleeman Center. We'll do a lineup, and I'll just slap every single one of them personally.
But going to the Panthers, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
they went for it.
There was a rumor from a Tampa. I think it was a Tampa radio show. I've never heard of them. Saying that apparently some of the Panthers went out to, how do I say this? An establishment.
Gentlemen's club.
A strip club.
Okay, thank you, Alex. I went to a strip club and pulled a Radulov and a Kostitsin from the Nashville days. All right, that's what the accusations were. Apparently they've been denied. I thought people were saying it was before Game 3, which was a crap effort from the Panthers. But some people were saying allegedly before Game 4, and they played a hell of a game in Game 4, to be honest with you. But then Vasilevsky was just like, no.
Hi. He was like, hello.
Listen, there were a lot of reasons why the Panthers lost here. You guys know that nothing bothers me more than when you look off a shooter on the power play. Barkov just saw Aaron Ekblad for the first few games of that season and said, not today. Barkov just disappeared. The man who I heralded as the most complete player in the league for the past year. APB, where are you, buddy?
I was genuinely stunned by that, by the way.
Yeah, so was I.
Yeah.
The way he didn't produce at all. That was really bad.
I don't mean to rip on the Panthers too much here because I think the Lightning had 2 goals called back. And they still outscored you 2-0. One's an empty net, but they still lost. And you would, first off, the worst review I've ever seen for that net stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm pretty sure Baumgartner pointed out to me, Palat didn't celebrate the goal, so he knew. Huberdeau was right there. He knew. And then the broadcast was like, Huberdeau's got to keep playing. Whenever players see a puck go out of and hit the netting, everyone stops and does the hand raise thing. Everyone, so shut up. Listen, the Panthers... Game 2 was, I think, where they lost the series. I think it was Game 2, when they had the last-minute goal from Ross Colton that came from the Kucherov pass. But I don't think Burnett's back. We like Perry, but Corey Perry was one of the most outstanding Tampa Bay Lightning in this series. You can't have the skeleton of Corey Perry haunting you. I like the stuff with the power play too, even if it's an assistant's job. It's just the Panthers and their effort in this series compared to last year against the Lightning was unrecognizable to me. Different team.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was weird because I was confident that they loaded up. Yeah. They had the same core that they did the blueprint that I thought they needed to get to the next level. Like 2 things for me. Sergei Bobrovsky was a lot more consistent this year.
Yeah.
That was a big thing for them. Every single section of that lineup was shored up. And somehow they scored less. They didn't have the same effort that I expected. And it was weird to me that in a way they regressed slightly by giving up a lot more.
It's like I just look at the personnel they brought in too. Reinhart, first time in the playoffs. Let's go. You look at Joe Thornton, who only played the one game, but in the locker room, that's a guy who's itching to get that first chance, right? Giroux, the commercial saying he only wants one. You look at Big Ben Sherratt, who lost to this Tampa Bay Lightning team in the finals, and was going to be hungry, right? Not to mention, it's just Sam Bennett gets suspended in that series last year, probably wants revenge. That whole team, a state rivalry, and they just popped. It is, I can only imagine the feeling there. There was so much with this team this year. I wonder what they do, because again, I don't think Burnett's going to come back. I really hope they're smart with their next candidate, because I know I was trying to make a thing about, I never want to mention SDP, just so I didn't feel like we were stealing thoughts here. But Steve Dangle sort of hinted at maybe they bring Quenneville back. Imagine if they do that. Like, someone's going to, because the NHL. But is it Barry? Is it John Tortorella? Because I just don't think Burnett, like, nothing against Burnett, all credit to him this year. Mm-hmm. Amazing job. But maybe he's just not ready to handle this type of team in this side of high. It's like the playoffs against the Lightning, tough situation, but he just couldn't get it done, unfortunately.
Yeah. I don't know. Okay. Let me put it like this. Someone's going, obviously, I think 32, well, I'd say 30 coaches are looking over their shoulder at Barry Trotz right now.
Yes.
But if I'm the Panthers, I don't know if that's the guy I bring in necessarily. Because I think he has, like, if I'm Barry Trotz, or if I'm a general manager of an NHL team, I'm looking at a team like Winnipeg. I'm looking at a team like Las Vegas, where it's like, if we give you Barry Trotz and he shores you up defensively, you are good forever. Mm-hmm. I don't think that was necessarily the problem with Florida this year. And I'm not saying to bring Andrew Brunette back. Maybe I guess you don't. If you don't think he's the guy to get it done, would it surprise me if they brought Joel Quenneville back? Absolutely not. Because like you said, it's the NHL. I'm just not sure if Barry Trotz is the right fit for the current construction of that roster.
Just looking at some of their cap friendly stuff. So next year, guys coming back: Reinhart, Barkov, Huberdeau, Hornquist, not Reinhart. I already said Reinhart. Yeah. Sorry. Bennett. Giroux's probably gone. Duclair will be back. Verhaeghe's coming back. Obviously, Antoine Lundell will get better and better. So the forward group, you still have your core there, which is all that matters. And then on D, Ekblad will be back. Pretty good player. Brandon Montour as well. Mackenzie Weegar, who didn't have a great series, but he's talented. Gustav Forsling, who I forgot they got off of waivers.
Yeah, solid, very solid for that.
And Radko Gudas. There are holes there. They're going to have to fill them. And I don't really know if they don't have the draft capital to maybe take a giant swing again next year. But it's a difficult job for Zito. But I think he's earned the benefit of the doubt with what he's done since he came into 100%. Florida.
Yeah. I think of Duclair, Weinberg, Forsling, all these guys who they got on the cheap, and they were able to produce really quickly, I think.
It's just
the system's still there.
Like, do you look at the team and say, would you do anything differently to that team?
The roster itself?
Yes.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Is the Ben Sherratt acquisition a bit too, like, can you say that's a bit hindsight, I like what he brings in the playoffs. Honestly, I do. Maybe the officiating was a bit different, but I know I'm tough to Ben Sherratt, but they trusted him enough where he was on the top pairing for a good bit of time. But the roster, I mean, it was the deepest forward core in the league.
Yeah, 100%. This year, 100%.
It's just I just think it's a coaching thing. Obviously, well, listen, the big thing is if you're bringing in a new coach, it needs to be someone who I think needs to push Barkov and Huber those buttons, because listen, credit to Zito, did all he can. I think we need to be a bit harsh on the stars here, like we would be to the teams we cheer for. Him and Huberdeau I think in game 4 had a shot that I think McDonough had a stick on it, and it was just like it was game 3 or 4, and you're just thinking to yourself, that's just the series in a nutshell almost. But those two guys, maybe this is their wake-up series, because we thought that was their playing round against the Islanders a few years ago, but whoever they bring needs to be a guy who can say, you two are the big guns here. It's up to you if this team fails or not. Bobrovsky's tough because was he the reason they lost? Absolutely not. No. But it's very tough when you're the second best goalie in the series and you didn't necessarily steal a game, which you need a goalie to do. Right. Especially against Vasilevsky, but then that contract is just an anchor. And then you just hope for Spencer Knight, but he's still so young. There's a lot there with the Panthers. We're not going too deep here, because I think maybe once he's recovered a bit, we get Baumgartner on and just have a nice discussion about this, my man. For sure. Because I still think that's a good team. I still believe in that core. And I just, listen, credit to them. I hope the fans can at least appreciate that they got around for the first time in their lifetimes. But now it's that thing of there's expectations here. Doesn't matter the Florida in the way. We're all dealing with the Tampa's in the way. We all deal with the Lightning. You got to learn to get over them now. They are the Bruins to the Hurricanes or
the Bruins
Toronto.
To the Leafs.
They're Tampa to Montreal or the Rangers to them. That it's been. They're just whatever. They're the Penguins to the Capitals. That's what
I was gonna use that one. Yeah, exactly. I like that one.
It's just you can just
the Golden Knights to the Sharks.
Everyone. Yeah, Tampa to the Islanders, Tampa to Corey Perry
to
went over there.
Tampa to everyone.
Tampa to the salary cap, because he just does but Tampa to the salary cap, it should really just go to jail for it. It's a felony, actually, tax evasion or something like that. But the Tampa Bay Lightning await the winners of the Carolina Hurricanes and the New York Rangers.
When we start with this one, did you see the tweet that the Hurricanes put
yes.
of the a storm is coming to New York?
And then what was it? The Empire State Building Twitter account just replied, a sunny day and just like a lawn chair. On
it's
the
just like there's like a set. There's like a lawn chair set, and only one of them is just toppled down, but it's a sunny day.
So we are 4 games into this Carolina series, right? It's 2-2. I did not realize this. Not the Panthers. The Hurricanes haven't won a road game.
That's
in this series or the one against the Bruins.
That's quite interesting.
I don't know how you do that. Is last change that much of a hurdle? What's going on here?
I got no idea.
Here's what I like about this series. First off, Gerard Gallant and Tony DeAngelo going at it is my favorite thing ever. No quit in New York, unlike the Florida Panthers. Sorry, Baumgartner. I had to throw that in there. It was a joke I wrote down. I thought it was worth it. But a big thing in game 3 was the Rangers. The first few games of the series were very boring, very tight, very boxy, kind of like the way you'd expect the Hurricanes to play. But in game 3, the Rangers, I thought, actually got some space, got some room to work with. And by the way, I'll tell you this. That power play is low-key very good at puck movement. Like, that first unit can be just extremely fun to watch. And the big thing is Shesterkin sort of found his legs again after he got pulled twice in that Penguin series. Since then, he has just been phenomenal. Not Vasilevsky good, but he's been damn good.
He's been very, very good. I'm not entirely sure what's up with the Carolina Hurricanes here. It's a little confusing, but no quit in New York. I'd like to bring that up. because, we talk about Tampa Bay where because they have the taste of success, that's what's driving them. Whereas I think with the Rangers, I think we're at a point where, and I think Mike would agree, and I think we've talked about this before, they're playing with house money now. No one, I think there's people who obviously expected them to beat the Penguins, but I thought this series was going to be close. So it's just, I think they're playing with house money because no one expected them to make the playoffs this year. Then no one expected them to win a round this year. So I think for them, they're just playing with house money. And I think in a way going with the flow, it also helps when you have, again, the Vezina winner of this year. That again, I think we all can agree on how a goalie can be very influential in the playoff series. And I think we are seeing that too with Igor Shesterkin.
It's even like going to the road thing. It's not even just like a fluke or anything. Like Sebastian Aho's numbers are like looking into a distorted mirror. If you look at him on the road, I don't get it. It's like, is the Garden that big of a?
Even just
the energy. Leads them. Yeah,
both Gardens, TD and Madison Square Garden.
Okay, no offense to Boston, but no. Absolutely.
Well, but they didn't win there either. That's the thing.
That is true.
Right? Like that's the confusing part.
Like there's
because Carolina needs that fan base. They need their bunch of jerks. That's
fair enough. Well, they are jerks for not letting people outside of Carolina get tickets. That wasn't being talked enough, by the way. It's just like, are they hoping that Colorado like get knocked out so then they can win in 6 against whoever for the rest of the way? Is that the strategy here? Like, so Freddie Anderson's been skating a bit more.
Yeah, first practice.
Not that Antti Raanta has been bad or anything, but I mean, I figure it out, guys. It's a different team on the road. I just don't know how there's no jet lag. You're not going to Colorado and there's the difference in the altitude and that. Like, what are we doing here? Again, they need to win this series. If they're out in the second round again, just no more excuses for the games. No more.
I think they went into their bad habits again in Game 4. They just they couldn't score anymore. Like Igor Shesterkin's been a big factor for that, but it just also the shot generations on how things kind of been. It wasn't as tight as it was in the previous games, and they were just exposed. And this was something I said before with Carolina, where we had that back and forth with them. With Boston, is that the old habits of the past have to be fixed here. And I think that there was just that slight regression we saw in Game 4.
It's exactly what happened in Boston, isn't it? Against that series, it was you fell into Marchand's hands in TD Garden. I just listen. I don't know what Rod. You know what Dougie Hamilton could fix? No, I'm kidding. But guys like Svechnikov haven't been sexy as they are in the regular season. We've got some sexy players, but in the playoffs, they're not sexy. Come on.
They have.
Says that a lot too.
Who?
This when they use sexy as a thing. It's Tim McAuliffe.
Does he?
Yeah, he says it a lot. Where it's like, yeah, we don't have like he described Kawhi Leonard as not being a sexy player because he just gets the job done, but he's not flashy.
Oh, I wish we were done with the playoffs because that would have been the perfect transition to the Montreal segment, but I can't do that. But just pick it up, boys. Sorry we didn't spend as much time. It's just this is a bit of a boring series. I won't lie.
Yeah, but we never doubted New York. Never.
I will say this is Mike talked a lot about some of the bigger guys having to step up. I thought Mika Zibanejad was looking really good last game. Also, like I think Andrew Kopp him and Vetrano may have been the best acquisitions of the trade deadline. Like low key, the moment they showed up and put on a blue shirt, they've been looking great.
I've been proven wrong.
What did you say?
I said that those were not type of deals this type of team does to give assets for expiring contracts, because I said like this is just not their year yet.
I don't think you're wrong. I think that's hindsight now speaking, but I think if you looked at it at that time, I think that was, I don't know, that was my reaction too.
You talked about house money, Alex.
Yeah.
I wonder if internally even if there are some players there that may think, oh, this is great, you got to remember here, who was on that team that made it to the finals and lost in 2014? Chris
Kreider.
There may be another name in there. I don't think so, but that's a guy who remembers. Yeah. I only give him credit because I hate Chris Kreider, but he's been playing really well. The next captain, I'd say.
I think that he's the last one. Like, trying to look back on that team.
Yeah, I know you tried because they sold off a lot of guys. Like, Kreider almost got traded.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think, even Mark Stahl was gone here. I want to get their roster up and just sort of look. It's a crazy turn, not to mention Panarin's eager to get back there after his time in Chicago. How 100%. Bad does that trade continue to look, by the way? We never forget how bad that was. Okay,
I think that might be it.
Because Zibanejad was a few years later. Yeah. Strome must have been in the Islanders. Yeah. Goudreau, obviously not. Kopp, obviously not. Vetrano, probably not. I doubt Philip Cheadle was there.
No. He's 22. No. He's 22. No.
Oh, okay. Old young man.
He would have been 50. He would have been 15.
Reeves, no. Mott, no. Capo, no. Lafreniere, no. I don't know who Laurie Paginiemi is. Julian Gauthier, no. Dryden Hunt, no. McKegg, no. Jimmy Bronzinski, no. Tim
Leafs legends, no. Greg McKegg.
Apparently,
might have been a Leaf.
Kevin Rooney, probably not. I don't think he's a lifelong Ranger.
Son of Mickey.
Is Mickey Rooney a real person?
He was like an actor in the 30s.
And then Nemeth, and then I think
it's everyone. It's just Kreider.
Yeah,
that's insane. But you do have the buyout histories of Lundqvist, Girardi, and Brad Richards.
So there you go. There's the team.
And Shattenkirk.
Yes,
he wasn't there though.
No, he wasn't there.
But I love that 3 of the core guys from that finals team are still on the.
Do they get a ring?
Yeah, they're still there. It's just funny.
Maybe we'll think about it.
Do they get a ring? That's what we're all looking for here. Okay, to finish off. Well, no, because Leafs and Habs stuff. Okay, Battle of Alberta. First off, Daniel.
Yes.
You were at game 1?
Game 2.
Game two. Sorry. So you were at game 2. What was the experience like?
It was first of all, it was amazing. Second, and I was told by a lot of local Calgarians I know that it is a different experience going to the Saddle Dome. I think that it's loud, it's amazing, but I think it is one of the oldest buildings that has never, like, Calgary hasn't changed it.
Yeah.
And it's weird. It's like a community feel to it. Like because I sat in the 200s.
Yeah.
But it felt like, I don't know, it kind of felt like I was in the 100th level because, like, there's not a lot of separation between it. And it was just weird to me because I think I'm used to a Leaf game where, like, there is the divisions and then, you talk to the people you're with, but you'll have the small talk with maybe a few people around you.
Yeah.
I can't really say for the Bell Center, but, like, for me, the Saddle Dome, people just wanted to talk. Like, when you're taking pictures after the game, for example, and security's telling you to leave.
Yeah, yeah.
They weren't telling people to leave.
That's awesome. The Bell Center is bad at that. The Bell Center like pushing people out.
But like in general, it was great. Like, everyone was talking. I was called brother like 50 times by random people.
Wait, like Hulk Hogan or Macho Man Randy Savage brother?
It was kind of like a Randy Savage one. It was a lot of older guys.
I can't do the voice. I'm not even going to try.
Where's the offense at, brother?
Yeah. And then, like, it was nice. Like, it was a really cool feel. The only thing was I found really funny about the game.
Yeah.
Is because it's only about like 2.5 hours away from Edmonton. The chants were so disjointed. It's hilarious because, like, I'll say like 40% of the Thai arena were Oilers jerseys.
Yeah.
So, like, one chant after the other.
That's awesome.
When the Oilers came back, scored 4 goals in a row to make it 5-3. Everybody, like, the Oilers fans would go around the rows, like, high-fiving everybody who wanted a high five. And it was really fun. It was just pretty deflating, to be honest, if you're a Calgary fan. I knew it was over from my own personal experience when Nikita Zadorov did not skate for that puck.
Oh,
and then Leon Draisaitl just came in and took it. Like, it's over.
So were you, because it was in Calgary, were you cheering for the Flames, or were you just kind of going along with it?
I guess for safety reasons, I bought this Jerome McGinley retirement hat. I really like that.
It's a good idea.
Thank you. And I just sat in the crowd, but it's funny in my mind, I'm a go team because I just was happy to be there.
Yes.
But it was an amazing experience that I was happy to experience Western hockey.
Tell the listeners what you sent us about a former Calgary Hitman, I think it was.
Yes. So the Hitmen also play at the Saddle Dome and they have all of their alumni posters everywhere. So I got to see one of our boy Ryan Getzlaff.
I was shocked by that.
Played for the Hitmen from 2001, 2005. And he's arguably the greatest Hitman ever.
Oh, I can imagine.
That's not Bret Hart.
Obviously.
Because the second, I think, score on that, like in that organization is Andrew Ladd.
Oh, it was fine.
Yeah, it was fine.
But not Ryan Getzlaff.
But yeah, it was overall a great experience. I really enjoyed it. The fact that everything aligned with for the Battle of Alberta, because like I was scared when that game with Dallas went to Game 7, and someone was telling me like it was a lot louder for that series than it is for this one because there's just too much of a mix of fans in each arena.
I imagine Jay Ottinger was giving you nightmares like he will the rest of the Calgary Flames for many years.
Yes,
or even just Dallas and that whole fan base and whole management team are probably. God. Will
it be like Demko and Vegas?
I'll never forget Mark Stone just going up to Demko and going like, "Oh, that was awesome, man! I don't know, that was great." Mark Stone. I'll never get that mental image out of my head.
No.
So okay, first off, I feel like such an idiot for saying that the Flames are going to steamroll the Oilers, and how the Flames just continue to how my bracket just continues to let me down.
There was that glimpse though. Game 2, they were winning 3-1, and it was 2 quick goals in the first period.
Oh yeah, it was Game 2 was like a repeat of Game 1 for a second, and then just I don't know why the Flames just can't defend in this series. Okay, I want to talk about last night's game first for a bit. It's going to be a little messy here, okay, but it's Battle of Alberta. We got to get to everything here. Okay, okay, we got it out. Thank goodness, like Mike Smith owes Ryan Nugent-Hopkins like his entire contract, like the second year of that contract at least, because when Mike Smith allowed that goal from 132 feet away, I could not stop laughing. Like Twitter was so funny because it was one that I just see. I think Will was gonna just like explode of happiness, but then Nugent Hopkins ruined everything for us. But how does that goal go in? And Mike Smith is the better goalie in this series, and he was pulled in Game 1.
Yeah, that's true. They showed. I don't know. They showed the stat. I think he's at an 864 right now in against Edmonton, and apparently that was the case the entire season. Like, I don't know what's going on. Like,
he's the best in the
finals. That's insane.
Those are Hutchinson numbers.
That's Michael Hutchinson numbers right there. That's
Hayden Primo.
That's brutal. That's not good. That's very much not good enough. I don't think that's the reason that's the main reason they're losing this series, but again, like I said before, like we were talking about before with goaltending can keep you in a series, and I think when it's one like this where you know how offensive Edmonton's going to be, having an average goaltender, I think is going to do you wonders, and they don't have one right now. He's brutal.
I thought in Game 4, at least, Markstrom, despite the quick goal, I don't think he was awful. I think that there were a lot like that Hyman goal where McDavid was given room in the middle of the ice. That can't happen. That cannot happen.
No.
Like, you don't look like a Daryl Sutter coach team. But yeah, it's the thing of right now Markstrom isn't stealing games, which you an 860. How does that happen? How do you get, and like, listen, they were trading some big saves to start the game. I want to give some genuine credit to Mike Smith, by the way, just quickly. Because listen, I know he has his gaffes, but I don't think they happen as often as people really say they do. I feel like they get blown up when they do. Like, they happen more than any other goaltender. Unless you play for New Jersey, then that's different. But see, here's the thing that you notice a lot with Mike Smith, and he reminds me of Carey Price in the way of he plays the puck. No, I know. Like, Mike Smith plays the puck.
Where are we going?
Just hold on.
Okay, go. Sorry.
So here's the thing. Carey Price is really, really good at playing the puck, right? That's why you have to be really careful when you dump the puck in against the Canadians when he's healthy, because he just breaks it up. You have to forecheck with a purpose is the way I put it. But the thing is, I don't think I ever see Carey Price throw a puck up the middle of the ice. He only uses the boards. And this is what I said to Will. I'm like, this series, Mike Smith, he gives me anxiety watching him. If only you're an Oilers fan, yeah. But like, he's very aggressive with playing the puck, and it has really messed up the Flames, I've noticed. Like, genuinely, he does now. He hasn't had a gap like he did in the series against the Kings. Mm-hmm. But I want to give credit to Mike Smith because we have, I think, rightfully at times ripped him at his performances. But I thought his puck playing ability in this series has actually been very, very good. It's just what Will said to me when we were talking about this was, it's just sometimes he does it too often. Yeah. And he said, you know what, 4 out of 5 games in the 5th game, it's a complete cock up. And then that 5th game was against the Kings when he coughed up. It was a game 1 or 2. But, I think Mike Smith has been a massive asset for the Oilers as the series has gone on. I genuinely think that.
Are we going to redeem themselves to a certain extent?
Are we going to have a Mike Smith debate again this summer?
I mean, let's finish the series first.
Does he deserve a 5-year contract?
Let's see where he goes. Come on.
Hey, guys, he's eligible. Exactly. He's eligible.
He's almost there. Almost there.
But yeah, no, I think Mike, I'm going to say it, guys. I'm going to say it. Mike Smith deserves a little bit of credit for being the better goaltender, I think, of the two. And I think there's other guys. Like, I think that team overall deserves credit because what I think they've been able to do that other teams, I think let's look at Dallas, wasn't able to do. And it's very surprising, I think, to me, is they have gotten Calgary to, in a way, change the way they play. Like, that's not Dallas. I'm sorry. That's not Daryl Sutter Calgary. That does not look like that out there. It looks like they're trying to keep up with the Edmonton Oilers instead of slowing them down.
So Tkachuk, Matthew, the one playing, made
not the one getting drunk.
Not the one in the crowds.
I can't wait for game. I can't wait for game 5. He's the highlight. That's why the Flames are losing right now. It's because they don't have Matthew there. Yeah. So you don't have Brady, Matthew. So anyway, Matthew Tkachuk said we're losing to the one guy quote, and that was to McDavid. Not true because Hyman's been really, really good. Draisaitl was Draisaitl. Evander Kane too. Whatever. I'm not talking about him. Can nice if the media told the whole story of Evander Kane, but that's too difficult.
Can I just say that listen, he's gonna get paid this summer, and why is he gonna be the Philadelphia Flyers?
No, it's gonna be Edmonton. No, I told you they're trading Willie Harvey.
Yeah.
Willie Harvey and Barry, and the money's going that way. And
keeping Cody Ceci. I like it.
Okay, man, he's been good.
Yeah, he has been.
I actually think Cody Ceci's been very good.
I really felt like I knew this in Toronto.
We've been stop it. Let's. I'm amazed we've gone this long. We've gone this long and we haven't mentioned Connor McDavid. Okay,
he's good. There.
I said this with Mike, but considering this is the first time you guys have been on since the Albertan series started, was it blood? Do we owe Connor an apology? Because people were saying recency bias with the McDavid, like reclaiming the crown of best player in the world, and I kind of wanted to.
They were saying.
I saw people saying recency bias, and I wanted to send them his Hockey DB page to say what the hell are you talking about.
That's interesting. I would have said recency bias with Matthews because that's whatever, but that's fine.
David has 25 points in 11 games.
No, he's he's the best, like undisputed. He is undisputedly the most skilled player, and he's the best player in the NHL right now. He's not the greatest player in the NHL right now. That still goes to Sidney Crosby, but he is the best player in the NHL.
Yeah.
I see. It's so complicated cheering for the Oilers. Well, because I'm cheering for the Flames because I want my good friend Will Baldwin, Calgary native. First ever shirt when he was a kid was the Blasty Flames jersey. I learned from him. But like, there's a part of me that's like, I'm so happy to see McDavid going for it, a win away from the Final Four. But then I see Evander Kane, I'm like, I don't want it.
I discussed this with a friend when I was in Calgary that we were comparing it to the Buccaneers. That remember when Antonio Brown signs there, but there's a big enough name and a lot of other, high profile players on that team, like a Tom Brady, that people are just overlooking it at this point and just looking at the numbers.
You can almost forget about Edmonton. You could say that about his time in San Jose, and they both ended up in really bad.
Yeah.
Like I'm well aware, and we've had the discussions on the podcast about Evander Kane.
Not a good person.
The amount of like surprise I've seen of his success, I get it. It's beyond what he's done before. But this shouldn't be a surprise. When we were talking about teams that were going to sign Evander Kane, it was the Edmonton Oilers, because you place him next to Connor McDavid. What do you think he's going to do? This is the best player he's ever played with besides Leon Draisaitl.
See, this is where Tippett and then Woodcroft nearly screwed Kane out of the paycheck, because they weren't playing him with McDavid to start. And in this series, they've sort of gone to it. Which you kind of think, what were you doing? It was like when they started Hyman on the third line. It was like, what are we doing here? But like Kane definitely went there with the thought, I'm going to play with McDavid and I'm going to get a big contract again. And he needs it. But like, you look at it, right? And I cannot stand Evander Kane. I do not care. Even if he'd punch me in the face, I would say it to his face. I honestly would. I feel so bad for the people around Evander Kane. I feel so bad that his kids are going to grow up and see all this stuff. Here's what really just annoys me is it's not a surprise that A, he's playing well, and B, since he's gotten to Edmonton, emphasis on since he got to Edmonton, he's been quiet. Because he has to be. Dan Milstein told him, listen, dude, you just got to shut up for 6 months, stay in your home for 6 months or your apartment because you have to. No, I'm not going to go too much into it. But I hate it. But it's like I'm looking at sort of the final teams. Tampa Bay is like, listen, they're just really, really good. And the worst thing that Kucherov did was call out the city that I love. Okay, but you know what? Like, they're a good team. Those are decent people. I like Corey Perry. Okay, those are decent folk. The Rangers, it's like same thing. Like Chris Kreider, he didn't mean to hurt Price, but it's still tough for him. The Hurricanes, Kotkaniemi signed an offer sheet. I'm being petty, but it's like Tony DeAngelo. And then St. Louis, no one likes St. Louis right now because Binnington. So it's just like, if you want to be like pure happiness to win a series, it's basically just Colorado or Calgary right now. And the way it's looking, it's just going to be Colorado. Yeah. It's a sad state right now. It's a sad state. Very sad. Oh yeah. And Markstrom got pulled in game 3 was really bad for Calgary because at one point the shots were 20-7. Markstrom got pulled. Do you guys agree with how Lucic didn't get suspended? Because I agree with the fact that if Lucic had wanted to, Mike Smith would not be playing right now.
What was the Daryl Sutter quote? Oh, he got charging? Imagine if he charged.
Yeah, no, it's Lucic. He would have. Smith would not be playing. Lucic would be suspended if he did. It's a penalty, but do you guys agree with not being like not going full suspension?
Well, I think you look at it the same way with Kadri in a way. I think there's a lot of talk going on, and I think a lot of talk going on purely based off reputation and lack of watching what happened. So yeah, I think I'd agree.
You know who else? We forgot to mention it. The Jacob Trouba hit on Max Domey.
Oh yeah.
What did you guys think of that? Because that's a divisive.
A lot of people are saying, I know Domey was already falling, but it was still a brutal hit.
Yeah, but do you think should he have been suspended? It's a tough question. I knew it was
1 game. Like I was thinking of Lucic too, like at least 1 game.
It was. Listen, if it was. Obviously, I hate the idea that tall players can get away with hitting smaller players and concussing them. Like, I hate that. But Trouba, like, it's difficult when you're, like, looking at something frame for frame is one thing, but in full speed, I know Dom Decision was going on about, it's always this and that with Trouba. I think this hit, and he's had some truck hits this year. But I think still, like, and listen, we have been very critical about certain hits that, like, on this podcast. Mm-hmm. I didn't have a problem with it not being a suspension. I would think that you give it a penalty just because, like, listen, dude, there was head contact, I'm pretty sure, on the hit.
Mm-hmm.
And there has to be some sort of repercussions for that. But I don't think he should have been suspended for it. And listen, Jacob Trouba has committed some bad things on the ice.
And again, talk about reputation. Again, I think that's definitely being heavily discussed in this conversation too, but I think I agree with you on the fact that it's definitely not a suspension.
The Leafs, Mark Giordano signs a 2-year extension,
wow,
$800K per. Elliot Friedman indicated that apparently Giordano did take less. Originally, it was around $1 million. Mm-hmm. So here's the thing with Giordano. Like, listen, he's old, yeah. But $800,000 for a defenseman who's that good and has worked so well. For a 7th or 8th defenseman, $800K is good.
Even if he's your third pairing left defenseman, hypothetically.
That's
fine.
Amazing. Yeah.
Sweet.
Wonderful.
Home run deal.
Can we stop being so divisive on the most meaningless I get it. It's Mark Giordano. We talked about it with Kyle Clifford. We talked about it with Wayne Simmons. And now we're talking about Mark Giordano. It's such a small amount of money for a team that has money falling out of its pockets at insane rates. Can we just great, and move on with our lives? Like,
have people not been happy about this?
Well, it's got take a guess. I just want you to take a guess at what direction this has gone in.
Old guy with another year, like Simmons?
No, actually, surprisingly not. Maybe.
I was gonna assume that one. Yeah, I've heard those ones.
Or is it like a blocking Liljegren Sandin thing?
That's talked about, but then it gets in the discussion of Jake Muzzin, and that's like, guys, what are we doing here? What? But that's not the. Well, you bring, because now what you have is Mark Giordano playing every night, and if you think he can, then you're blocking Sandin. Because then where does Sandin fit in the lineup? But that's not what's being talked.
Offer sheet Sandin.
Someone should offer sheet Sandin.
Yeah.
But what the conversation has magically become is it's become a GM thing. Like, screw everybody. Honestly, screw everybody. Everybody can do Dubisites or whatever the hell they're called, and the Lou ass kissers can go hide in a closet.
Wait, I'm confused. What they're saying, that this is the
the people. No. There's the people on Dubis are people who love Dubis are like, well, look at, he got this deal, which, because Mark Giordano definitely would have gotten more than $1 million on the open market. NHL GMs are insane.
From Calgary.
Definitely from Calgary. So it's like, oh, cool, we got him at a discount. And it's like, we're praising Dubas. And then it's like the Lou Lamoriello ass kissers are coming out and being, maybe it doesn't matter, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, guys, like, before Lou Lamoriello, no one was coming here. They were coming here to get paid and then go suntan and wherever the hell they wanted to. Like, both of you are immensely wrong. I think this has been a massive overreaction to this signing. I think it's great that he signed, but like you said, this is going to be a 6th, 7th, 8th defenseman. Like, take it down a notch for the please.
Guess what? If it doesn't work out in the age curve, like, listen, I think he's an everyday NHLer still, and he's a damn good one.
Yeah.
If it doesn't work out, the Flames, I guarantee you, will take him back at that. If he didn't make as much money this year, he'd be a Flame right now.
100%.
At the deadline, they tried to get him. That was reported, but the money wasn't working.
And if the Flames don't want him,
stuff
and if the Flames don't want him, and he doesn't want to play, welcome to Robida Island. Like, I don't know what we're doing here anymore. Like, LTIR exists.
Well, oh yeah, because he's an over 35 contract. So yeah, it's a bit
messy, but we'll figure it out.
It's
Jeez.
I loved it. I love the signing. Like,
so do I.
I actually called it. I like to say I called it. I knew he was staying. The home aspect. The home aspect is too strong for these guys.
Okay. Beside that, Habs side of things, we're still waiting for Marty St. Louis.
I heard it's coming. I heard it's coming.
This morning it was reported, but nothing.
Friend of the show, Darren Dreger.
Yeah, great.
Is he friend of the show?
Yeah, I like Darren.
I'd love to have him on. I'd talk to Darren Dreger.
So would I.
But it's ignored that I have some names in the doc, just because they're for eventually when we look at Montreal's draft. But obviously, it's not important right now. If you listen for just the Habs.
Until next time.
Didn't make the playoffs. Nothing's happened. Hey, where's Carey Price's knee at? Don't know. What's happening with trading Weber? Don't know.
Wait a second. An organization that historically has been quiet is quiet.
It's just like, here's the thing. You expect something's coming because of how messy the cap is for the Canadians, but it's just, we're just waiting. It's just, there's an interview with Kent Hughes I'm listening to that's actually very fascinating. I like him. There's just you can see the human, like, talks about some of the stuff with his kids, and I like him a lot. I kind of want them to draft his son.
Wow.
I won't lie. Like, we'll have that later, because I put his son's name
like first overall.
No. God, if they do, I think that's
a fire.
I'll go full Colorado. I'll cut the cord then. But I want to, trust me, guys. I want to talk about my favorite team. But there's no news. There's also been some stuff around the league that we can quickly just touch on. Like, by the way, like, why? Here's the thing. I really hope Kevin Weeks is the new GM in San Jose, because apparently that's the thing. He's a candidate, and he better be the one to break it. Yeah. Hey there, NHL fans.
That'd be so funny.
This is Kevin Weeks reporting from the Shark Tank. I'm the GM, and then he deletes his Twitter because he has to go and work. I just, that was weird. Tortorella is apparently a kid in Philadelphia, because of course he is. Like, what's happening?
Who could have called? Like, it's like, but it's like a perfect match, you know?
Yeah, like the ruggedness,
what style they want. Coach.
The outbursts.
Hey, listen, tell me he's not for like their history and
Philadelphia than any player on that roster.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Which is the point. He'd love Kadri. Here's the thing. I don't know if he would like Johnny Gaudreau.
No.
That's a question I have, but he'd like Nazem Kadri a lot. But I have a lot of questions about. But
we'll see, because he had a problem with Brian Dubinsky in Columbus, who also played like that rugged style.
I mean, did he like Cam Atkinson? He'll have him back.
I think so.
Yeah.
Did Cam Atkinson have a problem with? No, because I think Cam Atkinson has like his best years there.
That was the time where Columbus, like, none of their first round picks were making it, but for some reason, like a David Savard or a Cam Atkinson, like the 4th and 6th rounds were making it.
Do they want Savard back? But Atkinson is so good, like really underrated good player. But he just makes a little too much money to move.
Yeah.
But unless it's like, hey, Voracek, Uno reverse. Like, I'm just thinking, are there any just random things that have been going on the last couple of days? I don't think so, but there's little nuggets that we haven't talked about because they're just not relevant because the playoffs are happening. But there've just been like these
hockey
little nuggets
in hockey.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, like just normally I would assume both of us are checking the Puck Empire stuff that Mike consistently spams us with.
I was actually on the score. Yeah.
Like I'm just looking like, yeah, Claude Giroux's not coming back. No surprise. Kevin Weeks, I just don't get it. Mark Savard, maybe an option in Dallas, which is funny.
That's an interesting one.
They've also talked to Rick Tocchet.
Ooh.
Which is funny.
Well, yeah, because I think Friedman mentioned that's who they talked to around the All-Star break.
Oh.
When they were thinking of a coaching change. Obviously, they never went through with it, but I think that Tocchet in Dallas, I think, would be an interesting fit.
Guys.
Yes.
Adam.
You know what's happening this week?
The Guelph Nighthawks season home opener.
So you're right, but that's not where I was going with it.
Mm-hmm.
What is happening this week?
Think about it. It's a big deal. Come on. We've talked about this franchise before. It started Bizarre Adventures.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's the 45th anniversary.
Kenobi.
Oh, it's also, at least it's the 45th anniversary of A New Hope.
Yeah, you know what? It's funny. So it's been like the last week or two have been the anniversary of a bunch of the films. Actually.
Yeah, I remember they always came out in March. No, May. They always came out in May because Revenge of the Sith was like one of my elementary school birthday parties.
Guess who? Nice. Wait, when's your birthday again?
May 17th.
Happy birthday!
It's okay.
Is that why you went to Calgary?
We kind of just worked with the long weekend, to be honest. And I just wanted to I just want to watch it. Yeah, just want to watch the game.
The pictures you were saying were beautiful. Happy late birthday to Daniel. People tweet
Thank
Daniel.
you.
But I was gonna ask because it is the first two episodes of Kenobi are coming out this week. Hype.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to do a mini Bizarre Adventures? Because we are going to need to fill some more time because we're going to be down to two series probably next week.
Yes, we are going to do one.
Sure. Let's do it.
No, we're not just one. We're going to do one. So the first two episodes are out. So we're going to talk about that.
What
and then
is
I'm assuming then they're going to do 2, 3, 4, 5, then 6.
Okay.
We're going to do a week.
That's May what?
This May 27th. That's when the first two episodes come out.
Okay.
On Friday.
So I mean, we can do it when we normally record. It can just be.
You have 2 days to watch them.
Okay, cool.
You should come on. Fine, it's.
I'm not going to be here though. Oh yeah, I already told you guys this. I'm not going to be here the Wednesday after though.
That's fine.
That's going to be June 1st.
That's okay.
You did tell us that.
Yes, I will be in Kingston to interview Shane Wright. No,
I knew that.
Yes.
Good. Ask him about Urash Slavkovsky.
And you should exactly. Ask about Urash. I can't say
that. I have to ask him. So Shane, are you excited to be a devil?
And then he's like, "No, please."
You've also been reading Grant McKegg? Oh, okay.
Oh, stop it, Alex! Please. Oh my God. He's so
Lord
bad.
Almighty, that was bad.
Oh, he was so great talking to scouts. That's why you're not a scout anymore. Like he doesn't even hide it. I don't want Slavkovsky. I'd rather Nemec or freaking Cooley. I don't want Slavkovsky. I don't care if he fits with Caulfield. Get the best player available. It's Shane Wright. Forget.
Not Shane Wright.
Oh, stop it. Okay, that's it. Thank you for listening. Habs draft preview coming soon. Probably like the episode before the draft, but we're looking at it now. God, I hate Grant McKegg so much.
Yeah, I'll turn it on a positive note real quick.
Oh my! What's
nothing to do. I think everyone. Well, by the time it comes out, maybe it'll be too late. But I think everyone should drive to Guelph for the Guelph Nighthawks season home opener against the Scarborough Shooting Stars. And do you know why? Do you know why though?
Employee of the month.
J. Cole will be playing basketball in Guelph. Okay.
Are the tickets sold out?
For people who don't know, who is J. Cole?
A rapper,
yes.
Very big rapper. So he played professional basketball in Africa, and I cannot remember where. Daniel, do you happen to remember? Last year he played.
He also played another pro league. Yeah,
a few games, and then he stopped. But now he's coming to the CBL.
Yeah, and Jalen Harris
too. Yeah, that was a surprise. Jaylen Brown. He's a little too good for the CB.
He's gonna see after the season. He told me.
Oh, okay. He might.
Yeah.
After they lose the Warriors in the finals, which is gonna happen. Mark my words.
And if you can't come on tomorrow,
finish it. Finish it.
If you can't come tomorrow, the Nighthawks are playing the Niagara River Lions on May 31st.
River Lions is cool. What was the Montreal team again? Civilians or something?
Lions.
Wait, what time's the game on the 31st?
It's 7 p.m.
Okay.
You should come.
Wait, I'm not gonna be in golf. I'm in Kingston. What am I saying? Never mind.
Well, then you should come tomorrow.
Okay.
Then you should come tomorrow.
Okay, with that, we're done.
Yeah.
Right, bye, guys.
The game's about to start, so check out the links. You've heard this before. I don't know how many people.
Wait, you guys are watching the Avs game? I'm watching the CEBL season opener.